Hi guys, I'm Mike, and this is another Raid Shadow Legends video. In this video I want to talk to you about a feature that we've had for a while now and that we have been waiting for a long time, and that's the dupe system. Originally, when they were still talking about introducing the dupe system, a lot of ideas passed by, and some were pretty good, some were not so good, but in the end we ended up with a system that consists of 3 parts, and I want to take a look at those 3 parts and see what kind of impact they have had on the game. So let's go to the Guardian Ring. The first part of the dupe system that Plarium introduced that I want to talk about is the Faction Guardians section. And I have to be honest, I was pretty excited about this new feature when they initially released information on it. Because one of the great things about this system is that they did not only introduce this for Legendaries, but also for Epics and for Rares. Because basically what it does is that you can fill slots for each faction, for each rarity, and put in dupes here, and having more slots filled in the Faction Guardian section will give you bonuses to those rarities. Because like you can see here, if you have 2 dupe rares for the Bannerlords faction, then rares from the Bannerlords faction will all get plus 10% HP, which is a nice bonus. But if you get more dupes, then you can actually get 10% attack as well, 7 accuracy and 7 resistance, 10% defense, and in the last slot even 3 speed. Regrettably, all these bonuses will only count for rares from that faction, but you will have the same option for epics and even legendaries. And as you can see, the speed bonus is even a little more potent here. But logically, it will be a lot harder to fill the slots for epics and legendaries than it will be to fill the slots for rares. But all in all, this is a pretty nice addition to the game to boost champions from specific rarities from specific factions. But now that I've had this feature available for a little while, I am a little bit less convinced of mainly the rare section. Because last week I ran into a little bit of space issues, and then I took a critical look at all the rares that I have in my vault and in my collection to fill the Faction Guardian sections of all those factions, and I concluded that even though I had a load of dupes available there, I would not benefit from this all that much in the game. Because not only on my main account I rarely use rares, even on the free-to-play account I am leaning mostly on epics. There's just a couple of factions where you do have very strong rares that you will even use later on in the game. And only for those factions it's a little bit useful to have these slots filled. But for any other factions, I found that it's just not all that useful. Epics is an entirely different story, of course, because like I said, both my main and my free-to-play account are leaning mostly on epics. So if you have the chance to fill these slots up, then that will greatly benefit your account. And then if we're looking at the legendary section, then I think that a lot of players will never really benefit from this section all that much. Because getting legendaries is hard enough as it is, and getting dupes is even harder. But besides that, I'd rather still have a new legendary than a dupe. The only dupe that I have at the moment is Seal of the Drakes, and the only thing that she's getting out of this now is 10% extra HP, which is nice but not all that fantastic. And getting 10% attack on her later on will not benefit her at all. So as you can see now, after I concluded that the rares are not all that valuable to any account, I cleared out most of my Faction Guardian sections. There's just a couple of factions that I still have rares in, like the Dark Elves for example, because there you will of course find Coldheart and also Kyle. And I also have a couple of dupes in the Skinwalker section, because I still use rares for the faction wars there. And Ogrin tribes I have a couple of dupes, because I want to boost my Bellower, which is my campaign farmer. And lastly, I have a couple of dupes in my High Elves faction, because there, of course, you will find Apothecary, there you will find Reliquary Tender, and also you will find Elhain over there, which is still my main arena nuker. So here they actually give me a little bit of value still. But I cleared out all the rest, so I can use those champions as food again. So even though I was pretty enthusiastic about this section when we started off with it, I'm already starting to see that it's not a perfect system, and I think that the rare section will become very, very underwhelming for a lot of players very, very fast, and that the legendary section will probably not benefit most of the player base. The next part of the dupe system that they introduce is the empowerment of champions, and the idea behind this can be pretty nice, but in the end, I don't think this is a good system to have in the game, because it only benefits the biggest of whales. Because what you can do here is you can feed dupes into legendary champions, and that's a big problem with this system. It's only for legendary champions, and by feeding those dupes into your champion, you can increase them by 4 levels, giving them way higher stats. And like I said, it's already hard enough to get a legendary, let alone get a dupe, let alone get 4 dupes of the same single legendary. So this is only for the biggest whales out there, and this only makes the difference between those really big spenders and the normal player base bigger than it already is. So one thing that could make this system a little bit better in my eyes is if they would actually also introduce this system for epics and perhaps rares. Because if you could do that, those kind of champions are a lot easier to get, and then you could try and empower those champions. So that could be a little bit helpful. But even there, the problem would still be that big spenders would benefit from this more than regular players, because you don't get dupes of super great epics that easily either. So all in all, a nice idea with the empowerment of champions, but I think this only makes the division between normal players and big spenders bigger, and that's not beneficial to the game. And then the final feature that they introduced with the dupe system is the unbinding of champions and the token trader that's attached to that. What you can do is you can unbind a dupe legendary, and if you do that, then you get 500 tokens, and with those tokens you can buy legendaries from the shop. This is a fixed set of legendaries, so there's no switching around here. It's just these 6 legendaries are available, and it has to be said, they are all very decent champions, so that's great. But you already have to trade in 5 champions to be able to buy a Manaya. And you will need to unbind 6 legendary dupes to get Tombhlord, Foley, Fushan or Molly. And you even need 8 if you want to get a Sir Nicholas. So that's just an insane amount of dupes that you will need to unbind to get one single legendary. And they are good, don't get me wrong, but these are not game changers by a long shot. So this is very steeply priced. Of course, we don't know yet what they will be doing with this part in the future. Maybe they will be offering different champions in the future, and maybe even at a lower price. But I wouldn't hold my breath on that. So I'm really interested to know what you guys feel about the dupe system that has been introduced. Be sure to leave your view on the dupe system down below in the comments. I'm really interested to see what you guys think about it and what you have experienced in the time that we have these features available. I hope you guys liked the video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and maybe subscribe to the channel for more Raid Shadow Legends videos. I wish you guys a very nice day, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Bye bye!